Hi, I'm Mary from Seymour Library, and today I'm going to talk to you about Kate in Waiting. And this book is about Kate and her best friend Anderson, or Andy. And at the beginning of the story, Kate and Andy are at theater camp. There are two theater kids, and it's the end of their theater camp, and they're reflecting back on theater camp and their big summer crush on the very talented Matthew. Matthew is a little bit older than them, but this is a banter that Kate and Andy have where they get crushes and like communal joint crushes, and that's how they know that the guy is worth it. It's if they both have a crush on the same person. And so in this case, it is Matt from theater camp. And this really sets up a cute story of friendship. At the end of theater camp, they think that their crush is over and they're ready to get back to their school life. But surprise, surprise, on the first day back to school, a transfer student is introduced, and it's Matthew. And suddenly that summer crush becomes a bigger deal in their life than they thought, and the two friends have to deal with new feelings of jealousy and betrayal, and also who will get the guy in the long run. This was a really cute book. It was fun and funny, but also it was a high drama kind of piece, but in a realistic kind of way. Some dramas are very melodramatic. I thought this was very real, especially dealing with the friendship between Kate and Anderson. It was this new dynamic for them, and they'd been best friends since they were children, and now suddenly here's somebody coming into the picture, and they have to decide what their friendship is worth and how to deal with all of these feelings. And it was good. I liked that exploration of feeling and the depth of the book, but it was also fun and funny. You know, they had teen situations where they were hanging out and how they classified the different cliques. And but again, there was the realism involved with, are these descriptions and these cliques that we assign ourselves really of value, or is it causing more damage? For example, are theater kids purely theater kids, and are the jocks always the partying super jocks who don't have much depth, or is there more to them as well? And I liked that exploration within this book, and it was just a good time reading it, and I think it's perfect for fans of theater and musical theater, and if you had that kind of background. But I do think you can also read it if you were more into sports, or if you were just a generic kind of student. I think you would like it, or currently are. But it could also be a bit inspirational to younger readers, that maybe they will go out on a limb and take a bit more chances with things that they want to do in their lives. Beyond Kate and Andy's relationship and the whole issue with Matthew, this book also dealt with familial relationships. So it had to do with Kate and her older brother, who is in his senior year in high school. So the next year he'll be moving on to college, and how the family is coping with that. They are also from divorced parents, so there's a lot of issues in dealing with going back and forth, and how that's become their new normal, but how it's hard for them to feel at home. They don't have that central location of home. And so in a lot of ways for Kate, home is her friendship with Andy, and how this new situation and dynamic is affecting her sense of home and how she belongs. And on top of that too, there is a fellow student, Noah, who is usually a sports kind of guy. He plays for the baseball team, but after his recent injury got accepted into the drama class, and is now kind of getting into musical theater, and so kind of because he has to for the class. But it's Kate realizing how to see him in a new light, because she always assumed that he was the jock kind of guy who played around with girls. But now maybe he's a bit more sensitive, and maybe he has some thoughts about Kate and what's happened in the past. Overall, I do think that this book successfully tells the story and truthfully deals with the issues and the emotions, and would highly recommend to fans of young adult literature, but also fans of contemporary reads in general. And if you like relationship fiction, I think you would also enjoy this book, because even if you're an adult reader, you probably lived through something similar, maybe not exactly what Kate and Andy went through, but that teen life you did live through. And so this is relatable, and it's fun, and it's funny, and it's heartwarming. So I would highly recommend Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli.